Hello everyone, today we're gonna create some real nice thumbnails like you're seeing on the screen right now. So let's get into it. Now that we're in Photoshop, let's create a new document. Make it 1920 by 1080 and have the resolution at 72. Make the background color black and let's create it. Okay, so for background, let's just find a Fortnite wallpaper. So I found this one. Let's copy it and paste it into Photoshop. Press Ctrl and U and drag down the saturation to make it black and white. Then you want to make a new layer. Press the gradient tool. Make the black part a light blue, so like this. And the other one a really dark blue. From the right side, kind of the middle, just drag out till you're happy with the gradient. Then select the gradient layer and make it the blending mode hard light. For the next step, let's go to Google and fnbr.co and find a skin you want to use. I want to use this one, so I want to use this one. You can either copy it or save it. Paste it back into Photoshop. Press W for the wand tool. Click on the black background and delete. Now let's press Ctrl and T. This way you can transform the layer. I like to make it a lot bigger because you want to make it visible in the thumbnail. So kind of like this. And press the check mark when you're done. Now let's go back to our background layer. Go to Filter, Blur and Gaussian blur, and make the blur radius like 5.8, around 5 or 6. And then go back to our character layer, go to the blur tool, make it around 300 and strength at 100%. This will blur where you paint in. Then you want to create a new layer over the character. Right click and make it a clippy mask. Then go back to our brush tool. You can press Alt and right click and drag to the sides to change the size. Have it on black. Just paint in around the corners. Just like this. Change to white. Make the brush a little bit smaller. And make the blending mode soft light. Then you can drag down the fill to around 60%. Nice. Let's make a new layer under clippy mask. Press Alt and choose a color from the background. Just paint in around the corners. And this way it will fit in even more. Then make it the blending mode hard light and drag down the fill. Then you want to create a new layer under the character. Then pick a color, more of a blue color from the background. Make the brush size a little bit bigger. And then one stroke behind the character. And let's make it the blending mode linear dodge. Create a new layer, make the color white and make it a medium brush. Paint around the character and make it soft light. We can drag down the fill a little bit. create another layer, still have the white, and make the brush size smaller. So now we're gonna add some text, so click on text tool, and we're gonna use the font Burbank Big Condensed. I'm gonna leave it in the description below, and type out what you want it to say. Make sure the color is a light blue or almost gray blue, whitish. Move it where you want it to be. Make the second line a light blue color. Just like that. And the third, the same white color. You can use Ctrl and T to resize it to fit. Select all the text layers and you can group them. I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller and tilt it to the right. We're quite not yet finished, but I like to add the color correction now, so open up the jelly pack. I also have a link for that in the description. Go to the CC and drag the whole folder. You can hide the example. So open up CC4, CC3 and CC2. Drag down the fill on CC4 to about 25% and the CC3 to around 54, 55. Okay, so let's add some basic effects to our text. Double click on our text group, click on bevel and emboss, the size on 3, the style on inner bevel. Just copy these settings. Then go down to drop shadow, have the blending mode on hard light and the color on a dark blue, and just mess around with these settings. Okay, so let's create a new layer over the group and make it a clipping mask. Select the brush tool, make the brush size a lot bigger, and select a dark blue from the background using the Alt key. Make it the blending mode hard light and drag down the fill. Create a new layer, go to the gradient tool, double click and select the first preset. And be sure to have it on a circle mode, I don't know what to call it, and reverse it. From the middle of the text, just drag outwards. Just like that, and make it the blending mode soft light. Make it overlay instead, and drag down the opacity. Create a new layer over the clipping masks. Select the brush tool, and select the blue color from the text. One stroke and make it the blending mode green. Now take the eraser tool and remove the excess glow. Now let's drag down the opacity. Now let's create a vignette, so create a new layer, select the brush tool and select the dark blue from the background. Just paint around the edges, like this. and make it the blending mode hard light, and mess with the fill and opacity. So let's add some additional effects. So go to the inverse pack, link in the description, go down to resources, and we're gonna use these two. So select them and drag them to your thumbnail. Let's start with these lines. Yes, Control T and make them a lot bigger. Then go to filter, blur and Gaussian blur, and have the radius on 3.5. And then use our brush tool and make it a lot bigger. Just erase around the edges. For the cloud, we can make it a little bit bigger. Then go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and have it on around 9 or 10. So drag the cloud stock below our text group, but over our character, and place it create a new clippy mask. Go to our brush tool, just paint around the edges, make it the blending mode hard light, drag down the opacity. So let's duplicate it by pressing Ctrl and J, drag it to the side, and drag it below our character, just like that, and create a new clippy mask over it. Okay, so under the first cloud, create a new layer and pick a color from the text. Now just paint around and make it glow, and change the color blending mode to screen. We're also using this lighting stock. I also have that in the description. So make it a lot bigger. Then go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and have that around 6. Then just position it to your liking. So now we're creating a really nice thumbnail, and you can use these methods to create other thumbnails, for example for Apex or Call of Duty. It's all up to you.